The invasion and hidden strength Nova Haven had always been a jewel among the stars. Established 30 years ago on the verdant world of Elysium 9, the colony thrived under twin azure suns, its sprawling fields of golden grain and bustling research facilities a testament to human ingenuity. Located on the fringes of explored space, the colonists believed their greatest challenges would come from the harsh seasons and occasional mineral shortages. They were wrong. Commander Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of Nova Haven's modest defense outpost, watching farmers tend to their crops in the valley below. A career military officer who had chosen this quiet posting to escape the politics of Earth's Central Command, she had grown to love the colony's simple rhythms. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Raj Patel, approached with a datapad. "Another beautiful day, Commander," he said, offering a crisp salute that had become more casual over the years of peace. Chen nodded, returning the gesture. "Sometimes I wonder if we're needed at all, Raj. 3 years without so much as a pirate scout." "The colonists sleep better knowing we're here," Raj replied. "Even if our mighty fleet is just 4 patrol vessels and a handful of defensive satellites, their..." Laughter was interrupted by a sudden alarm. The outpost sensors had detected multiple objects dropping out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. Chen's blood ran cold as the numbers kept increasing, not a handful of ships, but hundreds. "Get the governor on the line," she ordered, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her chest. "And scramble our patrol ships. At least we can buy the colonists time to reach the shelters." Within minutes, the peaceful skies of Nova Haven darkened as massive warships descended through the atmosphere. They were unlike anything in human records, obsidian behemoths with jagged protrusions that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. The colony's meager defenses fired desperately at the invaders, but their weapons might as well have been children's toys against the alien armada. The first volley from the alien ships reduced Nova Haven's defense outpost to smoking rubble. "Commander, Chen survived only because Lieutenant Patel had pulled her into an emergency lift seconds before impact." When they emerged from the underground shelter, the colony was already burning. Thousands of colonists fled toward the mountain shelters, while strange 4-limbed creatures in metallic exoskeletons methodically rounded up those too slow to escape. "Who are they?" Chen whispered, watching through binoculars as the invaders established control points throughout the colony. A surviving communications officer crawled to their position. "We received a single transmission before they jammed our signals. They call themselves the Viridian Collective. They claim this entire sector as their territory and consider our presence an infestation to be cleansed." For 3 days, the survivors watched helplessly as their home was dismantled. The Viridians were ruthlessly efficient, converting colonial infrastructure into fortified command centers. Their towering commander, a being the humans had nicknamed the Patriarch, supervised from a mobile command unit, his 6 eyes constantly scanning for resistance. Intercepted communications revealed their contempt. Humans were deemed primitive, barely worth the resources spent subduing them. Maya Rodriguez, a young colonial engineer, slipped through the shadows of what had once been Nova Haven's central plaza. While others had fled to the mountains, Maya had another destination, the colony's forgotten history. Before Nova Haven existed, Elysium 9 had briefly served as an outpost during Earth's first expansion wave. Most records of that era had been classified, but Maya's grandfather, one of the original surveyors, had shared secrets before his death. "Beneath the colony lies something they wanted everyone to forget," he had told her. "A relic from when humanity thought the stars might be hostile. They built it before the peace treaties, before the disarmament. A doorway that should never be opened." Maya had dismissed his stories as the ramblings of an old man. Until now. Following his crude map, she located the maintenance shaft behind the hydroponics facility and descended into darkness. After hours of searching through collapsed tunnels, she found it. A massive blast door bearing Earth's ancient military insignia, untouched for decades. The access panel still functioned, powered by long-forgotten fusion cells. Maya placed her hand on the scanner, expecting nothing. To her shock, the system activated. Genetic confirmation accepted. An artificial voice announced, Emergency protocols enabled. The doors groaned open, revealing a cavernous command center filled with dormant terminals and equipment covered in protective sheeting. Maya moved to the central console, where a single red button pulsed rhythmically. Last Resort Communication Array, read the label. Solar System-wide quantum broadcast. Use only in event of colony extinction. Without hesitation, Maya pressed it. The facility hummed to life around her as ancient transmitters powered up. Recording. Emergency broadcast, the system announced. Please state nature of extinction level threat. Maya took a deep breath. This is Nova Haven Colony on Elysium 9. We are under attack by an alien force called the Viridian Collective. They've destroyed our defenses and are rounding up survivors. This is not a raid. They're claiming our entire sector. If anyone receives this, please help us. The message shot outward, traveling faster than light through channels not used. In generations. Above ground, the Viridian Patriarch reviewed the conquest progress with satisfaction. Resistance had been minimal, casualties acceptable. This human outpost would become another node in the collective's expanding network, its resources harvested, its people processed for labor. Their pathetic defense forces had crumbled instantly, confirming everything Viridian intelligence had reported about human military capabilities. Primitive technology, he commented to his second-in-command. Their ships are barely spaceworthy. How such creatures managed to spread across multiple systems is a mystery. Perhaps they were lucky, his subordinate suggested. Until now. The Patriarch's mandibles clicked in amusement. Set up the processing centers. Begin cataloging the captured humans for assignment to appropriate labor functions. But 3 days later, something changed. The Viridian sensor operators detected an anomaly at the edge of the system, a strange distortion in space-time that their instruments couldn't properly analyze. The Patriarch dismissed it as a natural phenomenon, perhaps a unique property, of this star system they hadn't yet cataloged. Then the distortion grew, and multiplied. Unknown objects approaching, a sensor operator reported, confusion evident in his multi-toned voice. Configuration does not match any known species. Impossible, the Patriarch snapped. Our database contains all spacefaring races in this sector. The main view screen activated, showing the approaching anomalies. They were ships, but unlike anything the Viridians had encountered, sleek, angular vessels with no visible engine emissions, moving in perfect formation. Their hulls seemed to shift and ripple, as if they weren't fully present in normal space. Scan them, the Patriarch ordered. Scans are being reflected, the operator replied, growing agitated. They know we're looking at them. A communication request flashed on the command console. The Patriarch hesitated, then accepted it. The screen remained empty, but a voice filled the command center, cold, precise, and unmistakably human. This is Admiral Helena Vask of Earth Central Command Phantom Fleet. You have illegally occupied a sovereign human colony and committed acts of war against Earth Alliance territory. You have exactly 5 minutes to begin evacuation or face complete annihilation. The Patriarch's upper limbs twitched in anger. Your threats are meaningless. We have conquered your pitiful outpost with minimal effort. Your species has no military capacity to challenge the collective. A soft, dangerous laugh answered him. You haven't met humanity yet. What you destroyed was a civilian agricultural colony with token defenses. Now you face the real Earth. The transmission cut off. The Patriarch immediately ordered battle stations, but a sense of unease had crept into his confidence. Where had these ships come from? Why weren't they in any intelligence reports? In the mountains overlooking the colony, Commander Chen witnessed the alien invaders suddenly scrambling into defensive positions. Through her binoculars, she saw the Viridian ships rising from their landing zones, weapons powering up as they oriented toward space. Something's happening, she told the gathered survivors. They're preparing for battle. But who would be fighting for us? Lieutenant Patel asked. Earth's nearest battle group is months away. Chen had no answer, but as the twin suns set over the horizon, she saw a brief flash in the sky, like lightning without clouds. And then another and another. The battle for Nova Haven had begun. Vengeance and revelation high above Elysium 9. The void erupted with light as Earth's Phantom Fleet engaged the Viridian Armada. The battle defied conventional space warfare tactics. The human vessels moved with impossible precision, as if they anticipated every Viridian countermeasure before it happened. Admiral Helena Vask stood on the command deck of the EES Nemesis, the flagship of a fleet that officially didn't exist. A tall woman with steel-gray hair and eyes that had witnessed more battles than most knew had occurred, she studied the tactical display with cold calculation. First wave performing as expected, her executive officer reported. The Viridians are attempting to form a defensive sphere around the planet. Vask nodded. Deploy the Wraiths. Target their command vessels specifically. From the larger ships emerged smaller craft, sleek predatory vessels that seemed to flicker in and out of visibility as they accelerated toward the enemy formation. They weren't using stealth technology, they were using something far more advanced. Partial phase shifting that allowed them to momentarily exist in multiple planes of reality simultaneously. The Viridian fleet responded with overwhelming firepower, filling space with energy beams and explosive ordnance. But they were firing at ghosts. The human ships appeared where they shouldn't be, vanished when targeted and struck with weapons that ignored conventional shields. On the surface, the Viridian Patriarch watched in growing horror as his mighty fleet was systematically dismantled. Ship after ship went silent, their wreckage cascading toward the planet in fiery streaks. Impossible, he hissed, mandibles clicking frantically. Their technology, it cannot exist. His second-in-command approached, trembling visibly. We must retreat, Patriarch. We've lost 60% of our orbital forces already. No, the Patriarch roared. Double our ground fortifications. They may control space, but they cannot risk bombarding the planet with their own people here. We will hold the colony and use the humans as leverage. As if in answer to his defiance, the clouds above Nova Haven parted to reveal a sight that froze the blood of every Viridian soldier. 12 massive vessels descending through the atmosphere in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with an otherworldly light as they easily dispersed the defensive fire directed at them. In the mountains, Commander Chen and the survivors watched in awe as the unknown fleet appeared in the skies above their colony. For 3 days, they had believed themselves abandoned, their world forsaken. Now, salvation had arrived with thunderous force. Those aren't regular Earth ships, Lieutenant Patel whispered. I've never seen anything like them. Chen shook her head slowly. Nor have I, and I've reviewed every vessel in Earth's defense catalog. A secure communication channel suddenly activated on Chen's emergency transmitter, a frequency reserved for highest military authority. Groundside forces, this is Admiral Vask. Prepare for liberation operation. I suggest you take cover. From the bellies of the hovering warships emerged thousands of smaller craft, drop pods that streaked toward the Viridian positions throughout the colony. They impacted with surgical precision, disgorging squads of soldiers in powered armor, unlike anything Chen had ever seen. Their movements were fluid, coordinated, and devastatingly effective as they engaged the Viridian ground forces. We need to help them, Chen declared, turning to the hundreds of colonists who had followed her into the mountains. Anyone with combat training or hunting experience, form teams. We know this terrain better than anyone. Within an hour, the battle for Nova Haven transformed from a one-sided occupation to a coordinated assault. The colonists, armed with hunting rifles and improvised weapons, emerged from hiding to strike at the disorganized Viridian forces from unexpected angles, while Earth soldiers engaged the main enemy concentrations. Maya Rodriguez emerged from the underground facility to find her world transformed into a battlefield. She watched in amazement as armored soldiers moved through the colony streets, their weapons cutting through Viridian defenses with ease. One squad approached her position, led by a commander whose armor bore more elaborate markings. You, Maya Rodriguez? The leader asked, voice slightly distorted through the helmet's communication system. Maya nodded, stunned. Admiral Vask sends her thanks for the warning. Your message reached us through channels we haven't used in decades. The soldier extended a gauntleted hand. Commander Alexei Volkov, 103rd Phantom Infantry. We're here to take back your home. In Nitep, the Colonial Administration Building, now serving as the Viridian Command Center, the Patriarch prepared for his final stand. His forces were in disarray, his fleet destroyed, and these humans, these supposedly primitive creatures, had revealed technology that rivaled or exceeded anything in the collective's arsenal. How is this possible? He demanded of no one, in particular as explosions rocked the building. Our intelligence indicated humans possessed only basic interstellar capabilities. Their military was assessed as minimal threat. A human voice answered from the doorway. That's exactly what we wanted everyone to think. Admiral Vask stood there, flanked by armored soldiers, her uniform bearing insignia that no public record of Earth's military had ever displayed. After our first contacts with alien species, Vask continued, walking calmly into the room despite the weapons trained on her, we realized something important about the galaxy. It's full of empires like yours, arrogant, expansionist, predatory. So Earth made a decision. We would present ourselves as relatively primitive, peaceful colonizers while developing our real capabilities in secret. She gestured to the soldiers beside her. The Phantom Fleet is just one of several contingencies Earth prepared for a day we hoped would never come. The Patriarch's upper limbs twitched with rage. You deceived the entire galactic community. We protected ourselves, Vask corrected. And it's fortunate we did. Now I suggest you order your remaining forces to surrender before I lose my patience entirely. 3 hours later, the battle for Nova Haven was over. The surviving Viridians were contained in their own transport vessels, now repurposed as temporary prisons. Admiral Vask met with Commander Chen and the colony's leadership in the remains of the Central Plaza. I don't understand, Chen said. I've served Earth's defense forces for 15 years. How could I not know about... She gestured to the imposing ship still hovering overhead. Any of this? Compartmentalization, Vask replied. After the Arcturus incident 70 years ago, Earth realized we weren't alone in the galaxy, and not everyone out there would be friendly. The public military, the ships and forces you know, are our peacetime face. What you see here is what we kept hidden, developing in classified systems waiting for exactly this scenario. Governor Elias Park, an elderly man who had led Nova Haven since its founding, looked troubled. So we were bait, sent out here to draw potential threats into revealing themselves? Vask's expression softened slightly. No, Governor. Nova Haven and colonies like it represent humanity's genuine desire to explore and settle new worlds. But we never sent you unprotected. Not really. She nodded toward Maya, who stood nearby. The facility she found was one of many contingency measures. Every colony has something similar, a way to call for help if the worst happens. In the days that followed, Nova Haven began the long process of rebuilding. The Earth vessels remained in orbit, their presence both reassuring and somewhat troubling to colonists who now realized how much had been kept from them. Maya worked alongside Commander Volkov, helping integrate salvageable Viridian technology into the colony's damaged systems. During a brief rest period, she asked the question that had been bothering her. The Viridians thought they knew us, but they were wrong, she said. What else is out there that we might be wrong about? Volkov's expression darkened. That's what keeps Admiral Vask awake at night. The Viridians are just one species in a vast galaxy. There are others we've monitored, some far more dangerous. And beyond even those. Beyond? He hesitated. There are anomalies in deep space, signals and energy signatures that match nothing. In our extensive catalog, things moving between star systems that don't appear to be ships in any conventional sense. On the Nemesis, Admiral Vask reviewed the battle data while preparing her report to Earth Command. The victory had been decisive, but the Viridian invasion raised troubling questions. How had an aggressive empire remained undetected by Earth's extensive intelligence network until they directly attacked a colony? And why this particular outpost when others were more resource-rich? A junior officer approached with a data pad. Admiral, we've completed analysis of the Viridian command communications. Most was standard tactical data, but we found this buried in a secure channel. Vask studied the decoded message and felt a chill run through her body. It was a simple text communication from an unknown source to the Viridian Patriarch, sent just before the invasion began. Test the humans at Nova Haven. Determine if the rumors of their hidden strength are true. This information is critical for what comes next. The Harbingers must know. She looked up at the officer. Harbingers. Run that through all intelligence databases immediately. Already did, ma'am. No matches in any known language or organization. Vask turned to the viewport, staring out at the stars beyond Elysium 9. The victory suddenly felt hollow, a prelude to something larger and more dangerous than a single alien empire's aggression. We weren't the only ones hiding our true nature, she murmured. Someone used the Viridians to probe our defenses, to see what we're really capable of. As Nova Haven's twin suns set on the horizon, casting long shadows across the rebuilding colony, Admiral Vask made a decision. The Phantom Fleet would not return to its hidden bases, not yet. Something was moving in the darkness between the stars, something that had orchestrated this test of humanity's strength, and Helena Vask intended to be ready when it finally revealed itself. On the edge of explored space, beyond the sensors of even Earth's advanced monitoring network, a vessel unlike any built by human or Viridian hands observed the aftermath of the battle. Within its impossible geometry, beings of consciousness, rather than flesh, communicated in patterns of thought. The humans revealed themselves sooner than anticipated, one pattern noted. Their protective instinct outweighed their strategic caution, another responded. This is consistent with previous observations. Are they the ones prophesied? A third questioned. The vessel pulsed with energy as consensus formed among its inhabitants. Unknown. Further testing required. But they have potential. They may be the counterbalance the galaxy has awaited. The vessel disappeared, not through conventional propulsion but by simply ceasing to exist in that region of space, leaving behind only a faint quantum signature and the promise of a return.